I think it's inevitable. In fact, I think we've already seen states recognize that digital currencies will be the next stage of money because they're trying to create competitors now, effectively to Bitcoin. And I think they're not really hiding the fact that it's that so-called central bank digital currencies, which is just a rebranded version of fiat currencies, which don't have any really desirable properties for the public at large, beyond the government being able to more effectively disperse sort of stimulus payments. But that unfortunately means, and I think a lot of people don't have the financial sophistication to realize, that actually means they are simply taxing you in a new way because that stimulus payment is debasing the value of the currency writ large. Digital currency in the general sense, cryptocurrency in the general sense, does not solve the problem of like inflation and hidden taxes in that way. Bitcoin, in a large way, makes it more predictable in that it has a predictable low rate of inflation, which is constantly decreasing. But as you say, the problem when we talk about everybody moving to digital currencies, we know the Bitcoin network doesn't support throughput. Unfortunately, the Bitcoin network as it exists does not provide the privacy protections really necessary for these kind of transactions at scale. And I think it should, and it could, and it's clear to me that the developers realize this should be done for whatever reason. However, when we're talking about Bitcoin improvement proposals, they haven't actually moved to do this, which is puzzling to me because now they've had years to do it. Mm-hmm. When we talk about this, though, you know, the inevitability of this transformation towards digital currency, I'm not picking winners and losers. I don't have a horse or care or concern as to who wins this beyond, I think, what the world needs, what we need, is a truly independent means of enabling private transactions. If that's Bitcoin, great, fabulous. I use Bitcoin. I've used Bitcoin before. I'll continue to use Bitcoin. But it's very difficult for me to use Bitcoin. And yet, that is a huge improvement over credit cards, which I cannot use because those networks are not even pseudonymous in the way that, for example, a Bitcoin transaction would be. So this is to say that, you know, cryptocurrency has, I think at this point, amongst the development community, the academic community, pretty well understood flaws. But I don't think there's any reason to say that they can't be resolved. If we're talking off-chain transactions, cross-chain transactions, you know, there are a lot of groups working on this. My big question is, why are you guys taking so long?
Well, right now, again, the panelists we just had, anybody who's worked in the cryptocurrency space on the institutional side can tell you that the first thing government goes after is privacy, right? What they go is, all right, you can have your magic internet money, you can do whatever you want, as long as it fits our status quo, right? You know, you might be a square peg, but you're going to have to find a way to shave enough off of your system to fit into our round hole. And the problem is the thing that they've been shaving off of Bitcoin, and the thing that they've been shaving off of all of these institutions that are involved in this space, are the protections for the people who are using it, right? They are shaving off the digital equivalent of our rights, right? Our freedom from unreasonable search, seizure, interference in our private interactions. And this is what I think is the most important thing that Bitcoin is missing right now, right? All the Bitcoin developers, you hear them talking about it. We've had panels, I think yesterday at a conference actually, where they talk about the privacy problem, where it's going. And here's the thing. The lack of privacy is an existential threat to Bitcoin. And it's an existential threat to the cryptocurrency space broadly. Thanks. The reason why is the privacy is the only protection that Bitcoin has for the users and the people engaged in the ecosystem to protect them from changes in the political winds of whatever jurisdiction they happen to live in. And you might be in the United States right now and go, look, you I'm a fan of government or I'm not a fan of government, whatever. I'm not worried about this. I've got my passport, right? I've got my bank statements. I've got everything. I can, give a blood sample or whatever it is that the exchanges are asking for today, and then I can go about my business, right? It's worse every day. But here's the thing about privacy that people forget. If one of you gives it up, because you go, it's not useful for me, you're taking it away from everybody else who doesn't have that level of comfort, right? Who doesn't have that privilege. Look, privacy is meaningless to me because they live in China, or they live in Russia, or they live in Iran, or they live in Venezuela, right? Where they're very much in a more vulnerable position where they could be tomorrow because the laws change every day, right? And this is the thing about privacy that I think so many of us today have forgotten. And why it is so important to defend this is it doesn't matter if you have nothing to hide, because privacy isn't about something to hide. Privacy is about something to protect. Right? And the thing that you're protecting is a free and open society. The thing that you're protecting is the right to act and to do and to try and to be different, right? Because that's what privacy protects. It protects the different people. It protects the transaction that doesn't match the others, right? And, people will make good arguments here, and they'll go, look, there are criminals who use Bitcoin, right? And they're right. They're right. There are criminals out there who use Bitcoin. There's a hell of a lot more criminals who use the dollar, right? But there are ones. But there are criminals who are using Bitcoin, right? And they're serious criminals, and they're people that we don't want, basically preying on society. But here's the thing: no amount of chain analysis, going out there and going, all right, Bitcoin is providing at least pseudonymity, even if it's not providing anonymity. And we're going to go, this Bitcoin transaction from, wherever, this old TXID, we pull it out of the muck and we dust it out, and then we go, it connects to this one, and 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 then finally went to Coinbase. And luckily, Coinbase is our little deputy. So let's go to Coinbase and let's go, whose name is attached to that. But the thing is, the coin could have been spent 25 times by now. But now you're asking the question, or you're being asked questions. You're going to have to defend this, and you're going to have to go through, where did you get this, and where did you get it from that person? And eventually you're going to have to say, I don't know, and that's going to be suspicious. And if you actually look at the terms of service for these major exchanges, when they go into their know your customer policies, right? They're anti-money laundering regulations, where they go, you have to do all of this stuff. And by the way, in every case, they go far beyond what the law requires, because they just want to cover themselves. If you fail to meet whatever arbitrary burden they impose on you, they don't close your account and return your money. They close your account and keep you.